After the murder of Cold Spring police officer Tommy Decker, nothing seemed to go right. First, police arrested the wrong man. Then the prime suspect killed himself. Tonight, 6 years later, the Stearns County Sheriff is opening up the case file, and Tom Lydon of the Fox 9 Investigators is getting the first look at what's inside.
Shots fired up here in Winter's Bar. We got an officer down.
So much went so wrong in those first few seconds after Cold Spring police officer Tommy Decker was ambushed in an alley behind Winter's Bar.
I have no idea where the suspect went.
Decker's partner, Officer Greg Ryder, fled, but would immediately pin the blame on the man who lived above the bar, Ryan Larson, who was fast asleep with a pistol under his pillow.
Is our suspect suicidal male Ryan Larson?
10-4.
Now, nearly 6 years later, the Decker file sheds new light on how an investigation took so many wrong turns.
There is several different speculative theories as to what may have happened that night.
Larson was released for lack of evidence 3 days later, but detectives continued to focus on him, even as a witness said she saw a dark-colored van with a loud muffler leaving the scene. 3 weeks later, tip 214 comes in with another name, Eric Thomas, who's got a dark green minivan with a loud muffler. Thomas, come to find out, was also fired the day of the murder from Roto Chopper, where he was a welder. His boss said Thomas wouldn't show up for work, always with a different excuse: a brain tumor, cancer, depression. Detectives became more suspicious as Thomas gave multiple alibis that never panned out. According to one source, Thomas blamed Decker for his DWIs. Officers Decker and Ryder had arrested Thomas a year earlier, the start of a spiral that left him flat broke. A month later, as detectives came to question Thomas one more time, he walked into a shed and hanged himself. Nearby, the murder weapon, a 20-gauge shotgun, and a short suicide note. "I'm sorry, I can't handle this anymore."
Because of the way that this case came to its conclusion, it ended with a suicide, we were never able to establish a clear motive.
But the mystery was hardly over. Stearns County refused to close Decker's murder case. 2 years ago, the BCA even sent an email to former Stearns County Sheriff John Sanner, writing that Eric Thomas was the shooter and there's no evidence others were involved, that the case should be closed. A follow-up note in the file says, Stearns County Attorney Janelle Kendall's opinion was the file should remain open with the belief that another individual, aside from Thomas, may be involved in the homicide. Over time, the rumor mill in Cold Spring only heated up. As recently as last year, detectives were looking into rumors that there was a drug cartel in Cold Spring, that Decker was killed in retaliation. Authorities say there's no evidence for any of it. As for Ryan Larson, he remains a prisoner of a small town's suspicions. Even with the release of the case file, there's one word he still longs to hear: innocent.
All I want is my name cleared. I mean, it's unfair to me, it's unfair to my friends, it's unfair to my family.
But this may not be over quite yet. Ryan Larson is now suing Stearns County in federal court, claiming false arrest and malicious prosecution. A trial date in that case is scheduled for April of next year. In St. Cloud, Tom Lydon, Fox 9.